Master your emotions, the key to unlocking your best life. Have you ever wondered why just one fleeting moment of emotion can derail an entire day or even alter the course of your life? 1 minute of anger, one thoughtless word, and suddenly a relationship you've spent years building begins to crumble. A small spark of anxiety holds you back, causing you to hesitate, and the opportunity you've been waiting for slips away. And sadness, even just a touch of it, can pull you into a shadow so deep that it feels impossible to escape. But here's something you might not realize. Your emotions aren't your enemy. They aren't the things dragging you down. They're signals, valuable, inner warning lights trying to guide you. When you feel anger, it's often because something you value is being threatened. When you feel anxiety, it's because you care deeply about an outcome. And sadness? It's a sign that you cherish something deeply, even if it's no longer within your grasp. Think about the last time your emotions took control. Was it that moment when anger bubbled over and you said something you wish you could take back? Or when anxiety paralyzed you, leaving you unable to act, and later you watched a golden opportunity pass you by? Here's the truth you need to hear. Those emotions don't define you. They aren't who you are. But if you don't learn how to master them, they will control you. They will lead you to places you don't want to go and choices you'll wish you hadn't made. Picture this. You're driving a car and your emotions are the fuel in your tank. If you know how to steer, that fuel will take you to incredible places you never thought you could reach. But if you let it spill over and ignite, that same fuel can destroy everything you care about. The point isn't to avoid emotions. You can't, and you shouldn't. They're a part of being human, but you can choose how to respond to them. That's where your power lies. You have the choice. Will you let emotions drag you down, or will you use them to lift yourself up? Today, I want to invite you on a new journey. A journey where you stop being a victim of your emotions and start being their master. A journey where you take the wheel and decide where your life is going. Imagine how it would feel to transform your anger into drive, your anxiety into preparation, and your sadness into strength. This isn't just possibilities waiting for you. Emotions are your servant, not your master. You hold the power to control them. Together, we'll embark on a path to not just understand emotions, but to transform them. This journey starts now, and I promise you it will change how you live forever. Are you ready to step into the driver's seat of your own life? Let's begin. A real-life story. Nelson Mandela's journey of emotional mastery. Imagine being locked away in a prison cell for 27 years. 27 years. No family dinners, no friendly conversations, no sunsets shared with loved ones, just the cold, unyielding walls of confinement. Imagine the anger burning inside you, the bitterness growing with every passing day. How could it not? You've been wronged, stripped of your freedom, and separated from everything you hold dear. Could you forgive in a situation like that? Could you resist the urge to let hatred consume you? Nelson Mandela faced exactly this. When he entered that prison in 1964, he wasn't just fighting against injustice. He was also battling the darkest emotions that any human can face: anger, despair, and the overwhelming thirst for revenge. Most of us, faced with such a situation, might succumb to those feelings. But Mandela, he made a different choice. He once said, "As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison." Take a moment to let that sink in. Even after 27 years of wrongful imprisonment, Mandela refused to let anger and hatred dictate his action. He understood a truth that many of us struggle to grasp. If you let your emotions control you, they will become your prison even if the bars are invisible. Mandela didn't deny his emotions. He felt them deeply, but he mastered them. Instead of letting anger fuel retaliation, he transformed it into a source of determination to unite a divided nation. Instead of allowing despair to consume him, he used it as a foundation for hope. And through this emotional mastery, he changed the course of history. Now, let's bring this back to you. When was the last time you let anger get the best of you? When was the last time anxiety kept you from taking that leap you knew you needed to take? It's easy to let emotions take over. A heated argument can make you say something you regret. A nagging fear of failure can stop you from even trying. But what if you could do what Mandela did? What if you could feel the emotion, acknowledge its power, and then choose how to use it? Imagine the freedom of knowing that no matter what you feel, anger, fear, sadness, it doesn't control you. You control it. That's not just freedom, that's strength. So, here's the question. Are you willing to let your emotions imprison you? Or are you ready to use them as tools to break free? Mandela's story isn't just an inspiring tale from history. It's a mirror. It's a reminder that you have the same power he did. You have the ability to choose how your emotions shape your actions and, ultimately, your life. You don't need to face 27 years of imprisonment to feel the weight of emotions holding you back. You face it every time you let anger damage a relationship or let fear keep you stuck in a job, a place, or a mindset that no longer serves you. But like Mandela, you also have the choice to break free. This isn't about ignoring your emotions. It's about transforming them. It's about taking the wheel of that car we talked about earlier and deciding where you're going. So, the question isn't whether you feel emotions, because you will. The question is, what will you do with them? Stay with me, because in the next part, I'm going to show you how to take that anger, that anxiety, that sadness, and turn it into fuel for action. You're about to discover the tools to not just survive your emotions, but thrive because of them. The core lesson: understanding and mastering your emotions. Have you ever felt trapped by your emotions? Like no matter what you do, they keep showing up, steering your life in directions you didn't choose? That moment of anger where you slam the door or say something you instantly regret. That wave of anxiety that stops you from speaking up in a meeting or taking the leap toward a goal you've been dreaming about. Or the sadness that makes you withdraw, convincing you that maybe it's safer not to care too much. If you've been there, and we all have, you know how exhausting it feels. But what if I told you that the problem isn't your emotions? The problem is the way we let them drive us. And here's the thing. You don't have to be a passenger anymore. You can be the driver. Emotions aren't your enemies. They're messengers. They're trying to tell you something important, something about what matters most to you. But when you don't understand their language, It's like getting a warning light on your car dashboard that you ignore until the engine over. So, let's fix that. Let's decode what your emotions are really telling you and learn how to respond in a way that puts you back in control. I'm going to share 3 steps with you, steps that are simple but incredibly powerful. Because once you master these, you'll stop being at the mercy of your emotions and start using them to propel you forward. Step 1. Recognize your emotion. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. The first step is to pause and name what you're feeling. Are you angry, disappointed, overwhelmed? The more specific you can be, the better. Instead of saying, I feel bad, try, I'm frustrated because I didn't meet my deadline. Instead of saying, I'm upset, try, I'm hurt because I feel unappreciated. When you name your emotions, you take the first step to separating yourself from them. You stop saying, I am angry, and start saying, I am feeling. And that shift is you are not your emotions. They're something you experience, not something you are. Step 2. Accept your emotion. Here's a hard truth. Fighting your emotions doesn't make them go away. In fact, it often makes them stronger. Think about the last time you tried to ignore your anxiety or suppress your anger. Did it work, or did it come back later, even loud? Acceptance doesn't mean giving in. It means acknowledging that your emotions are valid. It's saying, I feel anxious, and that's okay, because it means I care about what happens next. It's saying, I feel hurt, and that's okay, because I value respect and can. Imagine your emotions as waves in the ocean. You can't stop the waves from coming, but you can learn to ride them. The moment you stop fighting the tide, you find balance. You find peace. Step 3. Redirect your emotion. This is where the magic happens. Once you've recognized and accepted your emotions, you have a choice. Let them control you, or use them to fuel your. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to teach me? Anger might be telling you to set boundaries. Anxiety might be nudging you to prepare more thoroughly. Sadness might be reminding you of what truly mattered. What action can I take right now? Instead of reacting impulsively, channel your energy into something constructive. If you're angry, go for a run or write your thoughts in it. If you're anxious, create a step-by-step plan to tackle what's worrying. Here's the truth. Emotions are energy, and energy can destroy or it can build. When you redirect your emotions, you transform them from obstacles into opportunities. You take back your power. The big takeaway. You can't stop emotions from coming, but you can decide how to respond. The next time anger flares up, don't let it explode. Let it drive you to stand up for what matters. The next time anxiety whispers doubts in your ear, don't freeze. Let it motivate you to take action. And the next time sadness pulls you into reflection, don't run from it. Let it guide you to what truly matters. Your emotions are not here to defeat you. They're here to teach you, to challenge you, to push you toward becoming the strongest version of yourself. Remember, emotions are the fuel, but you are the driver. The road ahead is yours to choose. Stay with me, because in the final part, I'll show you how to take everything we've talked about and put it into action starting today. You're closer than you think to becoming the master of your emotions, and with that, the master of your life. Take action, own your emotions, own your life. Let me tell you something. Your life is too valuable, too precious to be controlled by fleeting emotions. If you've been waiting for a sign to take control, this is it. Right here, right now. Because let's face it, your emotions have already been running the show for far too. How many opportunities have you missed because fear whispered, "What if you fail?" How many relationships have been strained because anger shouted louder than... How many nights have you lost to anxiety, replaying the same scenarios in your head over and over? And here's the kicker, it doesn't have to be this way. It never had to be. Decide, commit, and take the first. The power to change your life doesn't lie in some distant future. It lies in the choices you make today. It lies in your ability to say, no more. No more letting my emotions control me. No more living at the mercy of circumstances. Starting now, I'm taking my life. And how do you do that? With action. Massive, intentional action. Because knowledge without action is worthless. You don't need more ideas. You need and results come when you take the first. Here's what I want you to do in the next 24 hours. No excuses, no delays. Do this, and you'll feel the shift. Identify 3 emotions that have held you back to. Write them down. Don't just think about them, commit them to paper. Anger, fear, frustration. Be honest with yourself, because the truth will set you. Uncover the thought behind each emotion. Ask yourself, what am I believing that's making me feel this way? Maybe it's, I'm not good enough, or they don't respect me. Whatever it is, call it. Because when you identify the root, you can pull it. Reframe that thought and choose empower. Replace the belief that's holding you back with one that lifts you up. Turn I can't into I will. Turn I'm failing into I'm. Don't let your mind trick you into staying. Take control and rewrite the power of choice. You have to understand this. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Every emotion you feel is a gift, even the tough ones. They're not here to destroy you. They're here to teach. Anger is telling you to set boundaries. Fear is calling you to prepare. Sadness is reminding you of what matters most. But none of that means a thing if you don't take. Let me say it again. You are in control. Not your anger, not your anxiety, not your past. You. And the moment you decide to step into that control, everything, not just how you feel, but how you live, your relationships, your career, your happiness. It all starts with one decision. I will own my emotions so I can own my. Feel the. Close your eyes for a moment and picture the life you want, the relationships you want, the confidence you crave, the freedom you deserve. Now open your eyes and understand this. It's not just it's a reality waiting for you. But you've got to claim it. No one else will do it for you. And it starts today with this challenge, with this. Are you ready to stop letting emotions dictate your life? Are you ready to step into your power, your potential, your destiny? Because I'll tell you right now, the world doesn't need more people who are controlled by fear or anger. The world needs you at your best. Your family needs you at your best. You need you at your best. Finish strong. So what's it going to be? Another day of letting your emotions rule you, or a day where you take the wheel? This is your moment. This is your time. Own it, because if you don't, nothing will change. But if you do, if you decide right now to act, you'll look back on this moment as the day everything began to shift. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more living small. You are bigger than your emotions. You are stronger than your doubts. And you are ready to create the life you've always known you. The time is now. Let's. Enjoyed this? Don't just watch it, like, share your vibe in the comments, and subscribe to join the journey. Let's make it epic.